Hi, welcome to the video. This is the second part of the three-part series. In this part, we are going to talk about Maxwell. We will see the requirements of our ingestion system, how Maxwell fits into it, and we will talk about the architecture of Maxwell. Let's get us started. The requirements of an ingestion system is, first of all, the storage has to be reliable and scalable, the target storage. The target of storage must support a real-time ingestion. And our ingestion solution should be able to access MySQL binlog. MySQL binlog is a collection of files. They are essentially binary log files, which capture all the changes happening to the data as well as tables. If a record is inserted, updated, deleted, everything is captured. Moreover, if a table is created, dropped, or altered, that is also captured in your binlog. So we need to access this binlog to get all the events in a detailed granularity. MySQL binlog is also replicated from master to replicas, and it has all the information which we need. A MySQL binlog can be a statement-based or row-based. In a statement-based, you capture the logs, capture the statements which have modified the table or the data. And in row-based logs, the bin logs contain the actual data which got updated or which got affected, essentially which got changed. Well, so you can understand we need logs in row-based format. We are least interested in the statements which changed the data, but we are more interested in the actual changes which happened to the data. So let's talk about Maxwell. Maxwell is an open source application which is written in Java. It reads MySQL bin logs and it generates a human readable message as JSON, and it can post that message to varieties of targets like Kafka, Kinesis, Google PubSub, or you can write it to your local file. You can push it to your standard console. It has very low operational overhead. It requires MySQL to have certain configurations specific to the bin logs. And you need a user which has minimum permissions, as we will see, and then a target, which can be console or Kafka, as we have talked about. The common use cases of capturing data, the CDC, what we call as change data capture, row level changes in the data is ETL, if you want to have a real-time ETL, which we are going to be talking about, or you want to build your cache or expire your cache based on changes in the MySQL. Maybe if a data is added in the MySQL and you have, say, Elasticsearch, you add it to Elasticsearch or your Redis, a distributed cache. And if a data is deleted in MySQL, you just delete or invalidate from the cache. If you want to have that kind of real-time synchronization, or it's not actually synchronization, it's something like an asynchronous trigger, you can achieve that using Maxwell. Similarly, if you want to update your search indexes based on changes in the MySQL, you can do that. And many a times there are two loosely coupled services which depend on the state changes, but they are not directly connected. So Maxwell can form as a link between two different and unrelated services which require intercommunication. Internally, Maxwell uses a binary log client Java class, which is coming from MySQL binlog connector. It is the same project which is used across varieties of open source solutions, including NiFi, Debezium, and others. All those solutions, all these open source solutions interact with MySQL binlog. And so this parent project or the parent dependency is something which is which is well accepted in the industry. Let's talk about the architecture of Maxwell. There is an RDS, let's say it is a MySQL, and then there's a target, let's say it is Kafka, and we have Maxwell sitting in between. Maxwell has different internal important components. One of them is a schema object, which contains the schema of the RDS tables. Then there is a binlog replicator, which receives the events from the MySQL binlog. there is a meta store and position. This meta store saves the schema of the RDS. This meta store and the actual RDBMS can be same or they could be different. This meta store is used only by Maxwell. It stores the position, like which bin log file has been read, what is the position till which it has read, so that if Maxwell restarts, it knows from where to resume. And it also keeps the schema and changes of the schema in the RDS in its own meta store. And then there is a producer. There are different implementations of the producer. The duty of the producer is to push the messages to the target. The producers can be synchronous or asynchronous. It's up to you. You can also implement your own producer. And as you can expect, there are different producers, one for file, one for standard console, one for Kafka, one for Kinesis, and so on. There's a metrics server which exposes different operational metrics of Maxwell, like how many records have been processed, how many records have failed, what is the ingestion rate, what is the published time of the producer. These details are exposed by the metrics server. The way it happens is, first of all, the schema object is constructed by reading the structure of MySQL tables. And then binlog replicator starts to process events one by one in an infinite loop. Once it receives the event, binlog replicator consults the schema to parse it and construct a human readable implementation or the formation of the message. Then the message is placed in internal row buffer. This is the row buffer from which producer picks the record. So row buffer is a queue from where producer picks the record and pushes to the target. Once it is successful, producer will update the position information. This position information is coming from the binlog, like at what position of which binlog file this message was captured by the binlog replicator. Every 1 second, there is a position store thread which updates the meta store with the recent information of Maxwell, like what position has been read so far. Meta store contains the schemas and positions. So if there is any change in the MySQL table, binlog replicators understands that this is a table DDL change. The schema is updated and the meta store also stores the changes which happened to the schema in the RDS. So this is how Maxwell works. In order to set up Maxwell, the binlog format should be row. As we talked about, there is a possibility of having a statement binlog format, but we need a row. We need changes to the individual record. The binlog row image is recommended to be full. However, you can have minimal, but if you go with minimal, you may lose some of the context, some of the messages essentially, like some of your default columns of your MySQL may not be captured. If there is an update, the previous value may not be captured. So if you want to go with that, it's fine. But if you can afford to have your binlog row image to be full, it's recommended. Well, with full binlog row image, the size of the binlogs will be higher, but your Maxwell will be able to benefit, and eventually your ETL will be able to benefit from the completeness of the information. The log bin should be on. Well, that's obvious. The bin logging, the binary logging of MySQL, you can turn it on or off. It should be on so that Maxwell can connect to it. Again, Maxwell connects to MySQL as a replicator. So whichever credential Maxwell uses, the username and password, that should have the select permission over the table you want to read. It should have a replication client permission, and it should have a replication slave permission as well. In the next video, we will take a look at working with Maxwell. What are the configurations and how do we use it? So that will be a hands-on. So see you in the next video. Thank you.